like that. Just when you thought it was safe. Let's move to the next side, please, John. BOJ, they surprised with their 25 basis point rate hike. Nobody expected them to hike rates. They haven't hiked rates in I don't even know how long. The yen, 4% move, man. It was kind of wild. What'd you think when you saw this?
He loved it. I loved it because I'm sitting here long yen, and I made back a big chunk of what we had lost. We're still down money in there, but we're better. We're better we're better where the yen is right now at 76, 77 than we were at 67.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was 24. Well, not recently, but we saw it earlier this year, 24-year lows. And so, crazy move, man. And then we had the third quarter GDP, which was revised higher. Again, there seems to be some spending going on with people. But, that one was surprising. I didn't really think that the market deserved to move that much on this news. But then Binance is the U.S. Version of Binance anyway, is set to acquire Voyager Digital assets for $1 billion. Obviously, we know that what's going on in the space, but I thought this was interesting because I think it was just earlier, a few months ago, they were competing with FTX to buy this, and now it falls in their lap anyway. As somebody who's bought companies and sold companies, what do you think about it? It's kind of interesting, right? That eventually some things fall into your lap anyway. I'm sure Binance is happy about this.
Well, I'm sure they're happy about it because they got it at their price. I don't know what percent. I don't know anything about the deal, and I'm sure they can. I'm sure they think they're bottom. They're scooping it at at the low. I'm not sure if it's for Binance, if it's for cash or Binance assets, or or if they're doing it because they also have like some kind of a stake. I don't know what their deal is with Voyager. Sure. So I'm not exactly sure of all the details. I think Binance, they're running the risk right now of opening themselves up to regulatory audit, which is going to be very interesting, but they must feel confident.
Yeah, they must feel confident. I know, right? They must.
I mean, there's no question they're bringing the regulators in-house here, but there's obviously nobody else that had a valuation anywhere close to that, because it didn't seem like it was a bidding war, and it didn't seem like anybody else wanted to touch. I mean, it's toxic to everybody else. It seems like it's just them and everybody else at this point, right? As far as like big, huge crypto companies. Yeah, my guess is that they didn't want anybody else to acquire it, and this was a little bit defensive. And I think it's because they have either existing investments and they didn't want to be a minority shareholder, or they have loans out or whatever else it is. I don't think this is like a stranger deal. I think this is a very friendly deal out of necessity.
Yep, I got you. Dollar's down for the second straight week. We've been talking about dollar for a while. It's heading down. Of course, the yen move didn't help it, and yields reversed course. They're actually up this week. Tesla has been the hot topic, of course. It's down at least as of yesterday, was down for the fifth straight day. 8 out of the last 9 and 12 out of the last 14. Seems like a ton of people have on position. I know you guys have talked about it ad nauseum too, but it's a story of the week, and so we got to mention it, of course. Although down for the week, VIX and VVIX, they made a strong run yesterday. VIX was up as high as 24 at one point during the day. And volatility doesn't seem to be immediately disappearing. Let's pull up some slides. Let's move to the next one. Got some charts. Yen, of course, this was the biggest one-day move in the yen since 1998, 4%. Largest move in well over 2 years. You can see some of the recent moves that we've seen, but this was a big one for those who didn't know or weren't paying attention. Huge move. We already discussed. Let's move ahead.
Some Dominican bartender got a really big tip on that.
I thought you were going to say some Dominican bartender talked to you about the yen. I was going to be like, what? Oh, now we know something's up. You're going to like this one. So this is percentage of trading days with VIX above 20. All right. As you can see, for 91% of the year, VIX has been above 20 this year. That compares with, obviously, even in 2020, it was only 86%. Looks like we got 4 times above 90, including this year. And it was 2009, 2001, and 1998. I'm sorry, 1990. Yeah, 1999. So there's not too many times where we have this much of the year with VIX above 20. It's been a volatile year, man, and we're not going to be able to forget it anytime soon.
No, but I think it's a good indication that next year it's going to be less volatile.
Mm-hmm.
You think next year will be less volatile?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
I don't know. I don't think so, man.
I will see. I mean, I get what you're saying, Tom, but like also I think sometimes we do see volatility cluster, right? Like look at
I was just going to say, look what it's got there. I mean, go ahead, Jamal. You got it. You did the work.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like with 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 08, 09, I guess you could say 2010, even though it's 62%. I don't know. I would tend to agree with you just on the contrarian front. But I don't know, man. Sometimes like recency bias leads people to believe like things stay volatile. I don't know.
I hear you.
Time will tell.
Yeah. Let's move to the next slide. I mean, I hope it's not like 2017 next year, I guess is what I'm really saying.
Right.
We need to be able to sell some stuff. NASDAQ Composite has recorded 85 one-day moves of 2% or more in either direction this year. That's the most since 2002. I know what you're thinking. 2008 was high, but it was only 82. So we've had more than 2008. And obviously NASDAQ, everything with NASDAQ, as we know, has been comparing to somewhere between 2000 and 2002. So another statistic. Let's move ahead one. Also in tech, this is a chart of the number of acquisitions announced by since 2011. So naturally, they've been a lot more selective. And again, we're talking about the Apples, the Amazons of the world, et cetera. They've been a lot more selective this year, and they haven't been gobbling up as many companies, and or a lot of those companies went off the map before they were able to gobble them up. So not that many acquisitions in tech this year. Let's move ahead to interesting, right?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, when you say interesting, it's interesting. It's interesting stat. Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Another one, same deal. Won't surprise you. U.S. initial public offering proceeds down 68% year over year, which is the biggest drop since 2008. There's only been 23.9 billion of proceeds from these IPOs. But again, you got to remember, 2021 was nuts. I mean, everybody was coming back to the market. There's all kinds of deals. And then, of course, we had the ridiculousness of the SPACs, which really had that stand out. I mean, that was an interesting time period. And it wasn't a new thing, right? This idea of SPACs, it wasn't like completely new, this whole idea of blank check stuff. It just hadn't been done to the level that we had ever seen. But again, it was a result of the current, like that environment with credit and money, correct?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to remember because I don't think SPACs were completely fabricated in 2021, but it was just an interesting time period. Let's move ahead to the last slide. YouTube landed a multi-billion-dollar deal for the NFL Sunday Ticket. It'll be interesting to see how much this affects Google. Now, I think the deal is $2 billion over $2 billion per year for 7 years. Sorry, but they do have to get around the $1.5 billion fee that the NFL charged. NFL's got to get its money, so they do have to figure out how to make money on that. Right now, I think DirecTV has it. I've never had Sunday NFL Ticket. I don't really feel the need to watch that many games. It is what it is, but there's some people who need it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've never had it either.
I've never had it either.
That's interesting. All three of us have never had it. Well, who the hell is doing this? AMC, they tanked on that dilutive capital raise and just proposed 1-for-10 reverse stock split. We all know, though, this is usually an attempt to avoid delisting. So we'll see what happens with AMC.
Yeah, it's unchanged, down small this morning, under $5.
And the whatever ape shares they had, I mean, they went ape the other day on this deal, but I don't know. No interest in AMC this way. I don't know about you guys.
No.
CarMax, man, the used car market is really been interesting to watch. Obviously, CarMax and AutoNation, and obviously Carvana has been the poster child for what's going on in that whole space. But they missed on earnings, and it's just adding more concern to the used car market. And in a similar vein, you could argue whether or not we're in a housing recession or not. You got new home sales, existing home sales, permit applications, all this stuff is coming down. It was a crazy year over the last 2 years in the housing market. So keep an eye on all your home builder names and your Lowe's and your Home Depots of the world. And finally, the research this week, managing early winners and managing winners and early management options jive, as I like that one. That's all I got, fellas.
Awesome. Let's take a quick break so we can catch the opening here, Tom. We got about 2.5 minutes to listen to Tasty Live. Thank you, Jamal.
Peace.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.